Ted Bondi, the brother of Attorney General Pam Bondi, just had his election hopes dashed in his bid for president of the DC Bar Association. And he is, of course, melting down as a result. That's right. In a post to LinkedIn, he had accused rabid partisans of setting out to damage his reputation. Are you sure you didn't already do that? Here's what he said. Their tactics, which included smearing me over my family and peddling conspiracies about my intentions, were not just an assault on my integrity, but on the DC Bar's very mission. Oh, you smear him over family, huh? Okay, look, hey, to be fair, Pam Bondi, yes, is a disaster, but that's not his fault that he's related to her. So, okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. That said, okay, let's address the conspiracy theories about his intentions. Are they conspiracies? Well, turns out that members of the DC Bar were concerned that selecting Bondi would enable the Trump administration to gain some influence over the group. Okay, that's not really a conspiracy theory, because I would say that there's pretty good reason to be concerned there. Since his reelection, Donald Trump has used his power to cow multiple law firms that he had perceived as adversaries. He has successfully gotten these firms to do pro bono work on causes that are friendly to his agenda. Basically using executive orders to browbeat these organizations into compliance. All right, that's it. He had issued multiple executive orders that would have denied them government access if they did not capitulate to the demands of this administration, which of course hurts them, would have potentially hurt them financially. Look, Trump has been at war with lawyers and judges since he was able to get the power to do so. That is not a conspiracy, that is real. The irony, of course, is that these law firms that bent the knee to Donald Trump are now, losing business. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's great. I think it's awesome. You know why they're losing business is because, well, nobody wants to hire a firm that has no stomach for a fight. They just don't. Oftentimes, the government is a defendant in a lot of these cases. And so if you comply in advance to the government, you are showing any prospective clients that you will fold like a cheap suit, which is not good. It's not good for business, and it's also not good for democracy, as lawsuits have a way of getting things done in the government. That said, his opponent, Diane A. Aeltzer, who runs a law firm, defeated Bondi by quite a margin. 34,982 votes to 3,490. That, my friends, is a complete and utter blowout. It's not even close. Holy crap. Now, here's what she said on the bar's website after her win. Quote, "We have a bar full of lawyers who care about making sure their leadership reflects their values, which are maintaining the rule of law," something that this administration doesn't care about, "being able to practice law without fear of retaliation," this administration wants to continue to retaliate, "and having a leader who is experienced and has the qualifications to be in that position." There you go. Bondi, however, his reaction was, "I had hoped this race would be a contest of ideas to enhance services for our widely varied members. Instead, I am disgusted by how rabid partisans lurched this election into the political gutter, turning a professional campaign into baseless attacks, identity politics, and partisan recrimination." Yeah, cry more, loser. All right. I'm shocked, actually, that he didn't try to jam the word woke in there. I was half expecting it. I don't know if you were. But I was definitely expecting him to start, raging about woke or something.
Woke.
Because that's what these people do. I'm actually kind of surprised that didn't happen. But here's the thing, though, that makes it even sweeter. Okay, that this election even more of a blowout. According to DC Bar CEO Bob Spagnoletti, this election had a 43% turnout. Wait a minute, that's less than half. What do you mean that's a good news? How is that good? Well, because it turns out that the turnout here was actually more than 5 times the norm in a typical DC bar election. Yeah. I mean, so you're talking about voter apathy among the general electorate, right? That's pretty bad. But in the DC bar, that apathy was way bigger, much more apathy, but people just not getting involved. But with this guy, Brad Bondi, trying to be the president of the DC bar, lawyers were like, oh, hell no. Oh, are you freaking kidding me? No, not gonna happen. And that's exactly what they did too, okay?
Can't let that happen.
And they turned out and they crushed this guy. And by the way, this is a stunning rebuke of the Trump administration and a very clear sign and a good sign that the DC bar is actually ready to fight. And that's good because we need fighters. We need people to go after this administration in the courtrooms and make the case. And by the way, this guy is not the only one to lose, which is also funny. You also have another prosecutor, Alicia Long, who was an advisor to the failed U.S. Attorney nominee, Ed Martin, and is now working with alleged drunk Jeanine Pirro. She ended up losing her bid to become the DC bar's treasurer. Good. Get wrecked. Look, lawyers do not need to be kissing the ass of Trump and his administration or his friends, okay? What they need to do is to be able to actually represent their clients, whether it be a private business or an organization that might be suing their government. At the end of the day, people want lawyers that will actually fight for them. Lawyers that fight for their clients. Imagine that. Yes, that is what people want. That is what people need. They do not need people that are willing to prop up what is essentially a lawless presidential administration. And that's it. So, awesome news from the DC bar. Awesome news from lawyers and the judicial system, which is actually really the only major opposition that we have seen so far, aside from protesters. And so, unsurprisingly, here we have the law, the lawyers, the judicial system pushing back and preventing the takeover that unfortunately happened on the Supreme Court and happened in Congress. And you can see the result of that. 2 very important branches of the government that are not willing to push back on this criminal administration. But at least you have the lawyers now and the judges that are, when it is appropriate and when it is necessary. And believe me, it is very appropriate and very necessary to push back on these assholes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.